Hey guys, and welcome back to Leo Gaming. Now, today's video, there's not going to be no tweets, not going to be no articles, not going to be no Sony pony sort or anything like that. This is more of a serious video, just on my general overview of this acquisition and what it does actually mean in terms of exclusivity and for the gaming industry as a whole. Now, yes, it is a big buy, and yes, people are worried that the big franchises like Call of Duty will not go on PlayStation, which I do still think they won't. You know, I do think that Microsoft should oblige the contractual agreements that PlayStation have had with Activision overall for the next 2 to 3 years, however long that may be. But I do honestly believe that Call of Duty will go to an Xbox exclusive. Warzone, like I've said before, I think Call of Duty Warzone will stay multi-plat because, again, the microtransactions and all that sort of stuff, and that'll be harder to break. Campaigns, Call of Duty campaigns can be made exclusive because they're campaigns. There's not groups of people playing them like the campaigns together. Whereas Warzone is more sort of, you get groups of people uniting together, which I don't agree with breaking that up. I don't think you should break that up at all. You know, there are big games, and like I've said before, I just think that at the end of the day, Bobby Kotick, it's come out, obviously Bobby Kotick, the real reason what he wanted to sell Activision Blizzard was because obviously he was struggling, and he was actually asking people like Facebook, Amazon, Google, whatever, the big tech companies. Now, at the end of the day, who would you rather have Activision Blizzard? Someone like Amazon? No. Google? No. Facebook? Hell no. You would rather at least Microsoft have it, buy it, and that's what they did. I think that's what Phil Spencer did in order to improve the working environment. And you've also got to remember, we all talk about exclusivity, this, that and the other. At the end of the day, what about the staff? How do the staff feel? Because it is about the staff. At the end of the day, it's their livelihoods. It's their work and persistence that they put in to trying to make these games. Is it better for them? I think it will be. I think Phil Spencer will really weed out the ones that aren't fit for purpose within the Activision Blizzard environment, which will be better for females in terms of the harassment. It will be better, hopefully the culture improves within the workplace environment. That's what it needs. So at the end of the day, I believe that this is a good purchase. Yes, Call of Duty will eventually become, I think personally, Xbox exclusive. But in my eyes, Sony, you cannot blame Xbox for that. Now, I know I said I'm not going to mention Sony pony salt, but the problem is Sony fans will argue that, you know, this is anti-gaming and this, that and the other. But at the end of the day, Sony have been playing their own game for a long, long time. They use the exclusive route on PS1, PS2, PS3 and PS4. Unfortunately, the technological world has moved forward. Xbox has seized that and sees the subscription model as the way forward. And they're playing their own game. And they're buying these big studios. Now, you can't blame, rather than directing your hate at Xbox for doing that, use that energy to help Sony get better or compete with that. Obviously, Sony can't go out and buy a big AAA studio. But what they can do is create for example, Call of Duty. Nothing's stopping Sony from creating their own first-person shooters. You've still got Resistance, Fall of Man. You create new first-person shooter IPs. They can do that. See, Sony have relied so heavily on third-party FPS games that they've become complacent. In my eyes, PS1, PS2, I absolutely loved PlayStation. I was a Sony fanboy. But I just found that they, especially during the PS4 era, they've definitely become far more complacent. They thought it was always going to work for them. And the thing is, you've got to remember, Sony didn't help Xbox out when Xbox had a mare of an Xbox One generation, did they? So you can't expect Microsoft, who are now playing their game, going down their own route, to come and bail out Sony. Sony needs to this is a good way for Sony to wake up, and they need to shake up their services and what they do. For example, the PC ports, they need to sit there and think now, right, okay, these need to go to PC day one, along with PlayStation, day one. Not 2, 3, 4 years down the line. They need to go day one and like ASAP. You also need to, and not just that, but bring the whole backlog of PlayStation games to PC. They'll make a hell of a lot of money. They need to really start thinking about, and this PlayStation Spartacus, they need to probably revise how that's going to work. And I mean by exclusive day and date. Because they're not going to compete with just, yes, God of War, Ragnarok, Uncharted, the usual suspects exclusives that you get for PlayStation are going to be successful. But they're not going to carry Sony forward any longer at all. And we, this is more serious for me now, rather than Microsoft not doing this is not destroying the gaming industry or monopolising it. This is a wake-up call for Sony that they're not the only ones on the block. For so long. And Sony fanboys, rather than, like I say, hating on Xbox all the time, concentrate that energy into helping Sony improve. Tell Sony what you want. I know you don't want PC ports, but rid that fanboyism out. Get that fanboyism out your system, because now this is about Sony actually trying to compete with Microsoft rather than the other way around. Sony getting their games on other devices, hence i.e. PC, is only going to benefit yourselves and Sony, and they need to do this. And like I say, Spartacus needs to be a day-and-date service, not streaming, or at least give the option to download every single game if you're going to have streaming with it, because streaming is unreliable. I don't like streaming. I hate it. I hate streaming games. It has to be, I have to download it. So in order for Sony to compete, and like I say, this is only a positive. Turn it into a positive. Rather than being negative, turn everything into a positive. Right, we're going to help Sony try and improve. Maybe Sony, have forums, have conversations with your player base and ask them, how do you think we can improve? How do you think we can move forward? I'm not saying Sony's going to, die. They're not going to completely wipe off the map, but they are in a bit of trouble, especially when $20 billion in stock wipes off the stock value overnight. Then there's questions that got to be asked. I mean, their statement about hoping that Microsoft make sure that Activision have multi-plat games, blah, 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 that's a panic statement. Personally, I think that statement's just to make sure the stock value goes back up. Obviously, it's only fair game that Microsoft obliges the contractual obligations, but I do believe wholeheartedly that Sony do need to start innovating a bit more, because they've relied so heavily on third-person, over-the-shoulder, action-adventure games. And that is now slowly biting them in the arse. Simple as that. They've been so complacent with that, it's now biting them in the arse. That's what I think, guys. I don't think it's a bad thing that Microsoft have done this. I think it's a good thing, because I'd rather Microsoft own them than Facebook, Google or Amazon or one of those big tech companies. So, guys, what do you think? Leave comments in the comments. There's a serious discussion. This ain't an attack on Sony fanboys. Ain't an attack on Sony. This is a genuine concern that Sony need to do better, in my eyes. I used to be a Sony fan, guys. PS1, PS2, a little bit of PS3, PS1, PS2. They were my youth. I grew up with them. So, I may hate on Sony fanboys, but that's because sometimes they are ridiculous. They are ridiculous what they come out with. So, but, I don't hate on Sony. I just don't like the fact Sony are so complacent, or have been so complacent. And if they are asking for Microsoft to make sure that all future Call of Duty games go onto Sony, but then some deal needs to be struck. Okay, God of War comes to Xbox, Spider-Man comes on Xbox. Sony can't have it all their own, all the cake. It has to be shared. And that's the problem. Sony are so used to having all the IPs and the exclusives, suddenly they're not getting the exclusives and they're like, oh no, yes, make sure it still goes to PlayStation. Well, make sure Spider-Man goes to Xbox. It works both ways. Guys, anyway, let me know. Leave in the comments what you think. Do you disagree, agree with me? Keep it clean because, like I say, this is not an attack on Sony or assault videos. This is a genuine concern. Guys, if you do like my content, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, check out my previous video, which is up on your screen right now. Goodbye. Woo!